Season's greetings, sweet friends. We've received a special holiday message from the director and dev team that celebrates all the ideas and feedback given by us, the community, and how it's shaped the game so far. As a little thank you from the dev team, they've shared a video which shows some additional game footage and a little of what they've implemented from our feedback, and we're going to go over it today in detail. But first, let's read Kjun's message to the community. He writes, "This week, I'll be doing something a little different. Instead of presenting another concern, I'd like to share some of the things we've been working on inspired by the feedback we received from our community during Kjun's concerns. It's important to note that these updates barely scratch the surface of all we've been working on for inZOI. As a result, not every task has been completed yet. Our goal is to finish as much as we can by early access, and for the tasks that remain unfinished, we will continue to refine them after launch to ensure they meet the standard we've set for our game. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for what I see as precious gifts from our community. Your ideas and solutions to the concerns I've shared here are invaluable contributions, ones that we, the development team, could not have accomplished on our own. We hope you'll continue sharing your amazing ideas with us so we can collectively make inZOI a better experience for all players. Happy holidays, everyone!" It's really nice how they communicate with us, and I really love how Kjun started this channel on the inZOI Discord to share these concerns and ask us what solutions we'd like to implement. They have actually taken our feedback and also a lot of our ideas and implemented them in the game. But let's take a look at some of it now. The video they shared is a compilation of all the concerns Kjun has shared so far and some of the feedback they've baked into the game, which came from us, the community. He actually starts the video with the most recent concern we've talked about: how long should one day be in inZOI? And I've made a video on this recently, so if you didn't check that out, I'll link it here for you. In game settings, you can now choose your length of day from 24, 48, or 96 minutes, which is the default, or 4 hours, or even 24 hours. Imagine a 24-hour game day. Now that would make for one heck of a challenge. And notice the pop-up warning here. We have 5x speed and also now 10x speed. But anything above 5x speed will cause certain controls to become disabled, like the WASD controls, and free will automatically be turned on. Having the game play at 10x speed actually puts a huge strain on the performance, but they said they're still working on solving this issue. Also, many wanted the ability to change the length of day without having to go into game settings. So they actually responded and said they'll be adding it to the UI. Kjun suggested probably where the existing game speed slider is on the lower left hand side here. Also, another concern that folks were having was how would you adjust the length of time an activity takes in the different day length options? Kjun responded to that as well. I'll read exactly what he wrote. "Balance adjustments for different day lengths. Not only do we have to meticulously adjust every needs value to deplete and replenish at the precise rate to make any setting of one day and subsequent days feel natural, many interactions and traveling between different locations need to make sense in terms of being able to do the right amount of tasks in one day. The summary is that this will take a long time to get right, and as a result, while you will have all these options by early access, some, especially the two at the end, won't initially work as fluidly as we'd like." And I think when he says the two at the end, he means these two options: the 4-hour day and the 24-hour day. This feature is likely going to be an ongoing project that will continue improving even after our early access launch. Yeah, it sounds super tricky, and it's going to take some time to get it right. I hope everyone realizes that early access means we get to see the sausage being made, so to speak, and it might not be totally pretty all the time. We need to have realistic expectations during early access and some patience as they continue making the game for us. Still, we're gonna have fun with the process, I'm sure. Moving on to the next concern: cars, to drive or not to drive. Initially, Kjun asked us if we wanted full manual control of the car so we can drive ourselves around the city, or if we wanted the driving to be automatic, where you choose the destination and the car drives there for you. This is what Kjun shared with us when he first asked us for our feedback. Initially, our dev team developed both of these options, but recently found out it would be unrealistic to make both options work in a high level with the limited time we have. Spoiler alert, I think this is one of the reasons they actually delayed early access launch. Unfortunately, we were in a situation where we had to select only one of these two options, and when we looked back to why we decided to make cars in the first place, it was simply to reduce the long travel time for ZOIs to get from point A to point B. For that reason, we have decided to focus on the auto drive option for operating cars in inZOI. While I would say that that was the main reason, we also had some supporting reasons. First, we didn't make the roads in inZOI to be very wide, which makes it difficult for players to drive really fast or with a high level of freedom like you would in something like GTA. If we were to make the roads wider and maybe add some fun driving mechanics, we would run into another problem with optimization. To make up for the fact that we removed the ability to manually drive your car, we wanted to create some other features that I think you'll like. This includes things like washing and repairing your car, to listening to music while you're driving, and rolling down your windows to interact with other ZOIs outside. What do you think about the direction we are taking with cars for inZOI? As always, we want to listen to your feedback and think hard about what the correct decision is for this game. While I'm not going to boast about how talented we are as developers, one thing's for certain, our team is very committed to listening to our community so that we can create a game that everyone can truly enjoy. Well, and what did the community want? Both options. All of the above. And guess what? They gave it to us. In the end, I'm pretty happy that they actually did. Even if it might have delayed early access, I think they did a really fantastic job with the cars. And I want to go back real quick in the video here and point out some things. So even though you start off driving manually, you do have the option to go automatic by just clicking on skip here, and it will just take you to your destination. So if you get tired of being stuck in traffic, not a problem. Now if only we could do that in real life. And I love the realism here. They even have these giant mirrors and hard to see corners, so you can safely see oncoming traffic. Another thing I noticed on here, look at this ZOI reading a book as she's walking. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I really love those details. Like maybe she's walking to school and studying for an exam that she has soon. And I'm sure you've seen this, but just note that you could also change from third person field of view to first person and look around from within your vehicle. I also wanted to mention, someone brought this up on Discord, and I can't remember her name right now, but I'll put that on the screen here. How the cars lacked more realistic physics, such as the illusion of having suspension. And I'll put a clip on here that she shared to demonstrate it. It's from GTA. I always thought something looked a little off or unnatural about the cars, but I didn't realize what it was until now. Again, this is all nitpicky. I mean, driving isn't the main aspect of the game, but it is really important to a lot of people, and I think if they did add this suspension mechanics, it would make a huge difference to make it look more realistic. But I don't expect they would add this anytime soon, or maybe even at all. I think their hands are pretty full right now getting ready for the early access launch. I just don't know how difficult it would be to add this, but it was a good point, I wanted to bring it up. Regardless, even if they don't add this, I'm pretty happy with the way it is. I mean, I would rather see gameplay be focused on, to be honest. Now this next one's pretty simple. Kjun wanted to know if we wanted to have freedom of unlimited floors while building, or if we were fine with actually having a limit. The concern was that even though they could turn off the limit, it would cause performance issues for sure. Kjun didn't want the game to get a bad rap for having bad performance, but he also didn't want to limit our creativity and freedom within build mode. So he once again listened to what the community wanted, and he gave us unlimited floors in build mode. But there will be a pop-up message stating that 4 is the recommended limit, and anything above this might cause performance issues. So in essence, you can build as many floors as you want in your building, and it will be up to you, the player, to know what your PC can handle. They also gave us a possible solution to the performance issues, which is using these empty floors. And I'll put in a clip of what I'm talking about here. So they're kind of like filler levels that you can stack up to make your building even bigger. I thought this was a really good solution to help the issue. This next one is about authorship. being able to keep credit for what you create and upload to Canvas. Canvas is where we'll be able to upload our ZOIs and building creations to share with the community. Note, Canvas is not for CC or modded content, only in-game created assets. And I'll read this straight from Kjun's concerns. We are working to integrate professional tools like Blender and Photoshop to help create assets for inZOI, while also developing a more friendly alternative for players unaccustomed to these tools so that they can also enjoy the creative process in inZOI. So this concern was when you upload your creation to Canvas and someone else downloads it, how do we protect your work and allow you to keep credit for your creation? As you can see here, in Canvas we will have the name of the author or creator listed next to the asset. That way you always keep credit for what you created. Someone can't just download your ZOI, change a few things, and then re-upload as their own creation. Your name will still be listed. I really appreciate that they worry about this, and they're getting ahead of a potential problem. And this next one is pretty straightforward as well. Name order. Default will be based on your game language settings. So for example, if you have English selected, it will default to first last. And if you have an East Asian language selected, such as Japanese or Korean, it will default to last first. But now you also have the option to change name order from 3 different options in the game settings. First last, last first, and also based on the current city you're playing in. For example, ZOIs in Doan will have last first, and ZOIs in Bliss Bay will have first last. We also have the option to add a nickname, and all other ZOIs will refer to your ZOI by their nickname. And this next one's really going to affect your game. Does more control equal more stability? Here you can personalize your city exactly how you want it. The concern here shared from Kjun originally was adding more city controls for different aspects of the game was causing some stability and performance issues. In his words, adding more controls also adds complexity to the way the simulation is run and sometimes creates unnatural or exaggerated outcomes. It also makes it so that when the player makes an adjustment to one element, all the other elements overshadow the adjusted element to make the change barely noticeable. Of course, we will address these issues over time, but understanding these dynamics is crucial in deciding whether we want to enhance this feature. And did the community want to enhance the feature? Yes, we did. We wanted more city controls, as if they didn't have their hands full enough. So, changes they've made. City safety is now called crime rate, to make it more clear what exactly you're adjusting there. They've also added, by our request, economy. Increasing this will lower taxes, raise salaries, and make job employment and promotions easier. They've also added population density, which I love, and also traffic density. Those two are pretty self-explanatory. Another one they added was random occurrences. Increasing this will raise the occurrence of random events that affect ZOIs. I'm not really sure what random occurrences those could be referring to, but it'll be fun to play around with, I'm sure. Another thing that was wildly requested was public events like festivals. And they actually responded to this. They said, as we are currently developing this feature, we hope to discuss it further when we have more details to share. So they're actually working on it. I'm super excited for that. We definitely won't have this for early access, but I'm just happy they acknowledged that we wanted this and they're working to make it happen. And again, I just want to go back real quick and point out a few things I noticed. I mentioned this before, but I seriously love how the city actually looks lived in. Like all the details on the road with the scuffed up paint, little marks. Also these marks on the lampposts so it looks worn. Cars randomly parked on the sides of the roads. I love again all these subtle details. Also look at this ZOI holding a purse. I want to see more random things like this, like a ZOI carrying grocery bags or shopping bags for example. That would make the city seem so much more alive. There's another ZOI holding a book. The lighting in this game also is just so good. It's something that always just amazes me. And here's some more details. I love how everything actually makes sense. Like you have this no left turn sign painted on the road, and also a sign posted here indicating again no left turn, and it's a one-way street. I love that. Again, I love that realism. Although, it's kind of weird that these two cars seemed parked facing the wrong direction. I don't know. I mean, who knows, maybe they're completing a heist. Also, this is a residential area with a playground here, and there's this sign indicating a low speed, which again, makes sense. I love how realistic that is. By the way, you can't actually use this playground just yet, but I really hope they add that ability in the future. This is a really nice playground, and it's the one that's next to that old-fashioned Korean house. The red brick one. Oh, and just one more. It goes by real quick. There. Here's a Zoe carrying what looks like maybe a shopping bag or groceries. I love that. Again, I want to see more Zoes randomly walking around the city looking like they're actually running chores or carrying suitcases as they go to work in the morning. That sort of thing. It just makes it feel so alive. So, what's your take on all the suggestions we've provided that they've actually implemented straight away into the game? Will you be driving manually everywhere? Some folks really love the driving aspect. And I love that you get to choose which car to purchase. They even have convertibles, and you get to wash them. You could even open the trunk or boot of the car. It's just so great. I also hope they add the ability to repair the cars like he mentioned before. I'm not sure we have that ability right now, since they had so much on their hands. But maybe in the future, since he already mentioned they were thinking of working on that. Or are you an avid builder? Will you be building skyscrapers with as many floors as your PC can handle? I can't wait to see what some people build. I've never been very good with building. Maybe I'm just not patient enough for being a builder. I like to download from the gallery for The Sims, so I'll probably be doing the same on Canvas. That's why I like to rely on all you talented builders out there. I love that we have Canvas to share our creations with one another. And I'm super interested in the public events Kjun mentioned they're working on. Festivals are one of my favorite things to attend in The Sims. I hope we get seasonal events and cultural festivals. I just can't wait for them to reveal more. If you haven't noticed, I'm pretty excited about this game. And hey, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more inZOI content. Kjun actually mentioned he'll be posting another concern this week. So stay tuned for more. And no matter if you celebrate anything during this time of year, I wish you happiness, safety, and good health to you and your loved ones. And if you'll just indulge me for a moment here, be kind year-round obviously, but be especially observant during this time of year. This time of season, depression is usually at an all-time high. Just be aware of people around you and if they need an extra kind word or two. Or just a smile and a genuine "how are you?" It might go a long way for someone, and you might not ever even know it. You really don't know what someone's going through. And with that aside, be safe, be happy, and know that I appreciate you endlessly, friend. And I'll see you real soon, and as always, enjoy!